Hello, welcome to Pitchside Stories, your ultimate destination for everything football related. And of course, I'm your host, Marjorie Mwelwa. We haven't had 2 months, we haven't had any episodes of the Pitchside Stories, and now we are back and we have a very interesting guest. It's no other than Kangwa. So we'll catch him on the other side. Evans, welcome to Pitchside Stories.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a brief background about who Evans Kangwa is. He is currently playing for, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Chindao.
Yes, Chindao as a left winger. He is also founder of Shamuel Academy, and this team is playing in the Football Association of Zambia, Division 1 rather, in Lusaka province. So, a quick question, Evans. You know, we all have a brief background, we all have a beginning. So just to ask you, when did you realize that you were meant to be a footballer? I'm sure there is that like that time, a moment when you realized to say, okay, I'm meant to do this. When was that? And can you give us a brief background about that?
The time I realized that I can play football is the time I was in grade 7 and I failed my grade 7 exams and I was good at football.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was not good at school. So I concentrated on football. So I was playing for that time under 12, under 13. So I focused on football more. And then I was not so focused with school. Then in football was good more than what I was doing in school. So yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'm thinking things actually worked out for Evans Kangwa because he's played for various clubs. One of them is played for Nkana. He's also played in Turkish football club as well as in Russia. In Russia, he was at Arsenal Tula, and he's currently playing in China. So, having played in different countries with people of different cultures, how has that impacted your growth as a footballer?
Being a professional football player is it's not easy. It sounds easy when people they see you, oh, he's a professional football player, but there are a lot of involved. The first thing is the family because you are alone in a white man's country, speaking English, different languages because I started with Israel, they speak Hebrew, but most of them they speak English. I went to Turkey, they speak Turkish, but a little bit of English. I went to Russia, they speak Russian. Now in China, they speak Russian. So it's not easy. It's not easy. Also, the food is difficult. There's no shima. There's no our delicious food that we eat, carpenta. There's no such food.
So you only come and eat them here when you visit the country?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure climbing up the professional football career hasn't been easy. So which one moment would you describe as being the most difficult moment of your career?
I would say when I was at Nkana, I think the time we won the AFCON, we won the AFCON, then I came back to Nkana. Then I had an injury. I think it took me 8 months for me to recover. So, and from that moment, I think I almost gave up on football because the injury was too much. And, people, they were criticizing me, oh no, because you went to Africa Cup, now you had the money, you don't want to play, what. So like I was frustrated and I almost stopped playing football. But at the end of the day, after I recovered, then again I started slowly. From that time, then I pick up again. So from that time, I feel like that moment I could have lost it.
Okay, so what really helped you overcome that difficult moment?
It's one man of God from Nigeria. I think I went there. Then he played for me. I think TB Joshua, he's late now.
Oh, okay.
So he's the one. Like I went there. I just went there for deliverance, not for football. Yes. So after he played for me, then I regained my strength of starting to play football again.
Okay, God is really doing miracles. So moving on from the most difficult moment of your career, now we move on to the good parts. Like what is that one moment that you would describe as to be like the most memorable event of your career? something that you would want to remember over and over again?
I think winning the Africa Cup
Africa.
24, although I didn't play any minutes, but of course I was always on the bench. But that feeling of winning the AFCON, I think I've never felt it in my life. So
Okay.
I want to have it once more
Okay.
with God's willing.
Yeah. Since you are now heading into the Africa Cup, I'm sure you have a chance at least to prove to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So, speaking of the Africa Cup of Nations, looking at knowing that Zambia hasn't been there for a while, and we are qualifying for the first time again after since 2015? Yes, we are qualifying again. So, how would you rate Zambia's opponents in their group, because they have Tanzania, Congo, and Morocco?
Uh, we have a young team. Most of the players they don't have experience playing in the AFCON because it's a tournament. It's not like the qualifying that we play maybe once in 1 year or twice in a year. This is a tournament where you play 2 games in 3 days, 2 games in a space of 4 days. So I don't know how I can put it, but of course this is just the beginning. I will not say we are going to win the cup, but it's a good experience for most of the players because it will be their first time into the AFCON. But I believe we can make a breakthrough. You never know because most of the club they have changed also their players because also other teams they have players who are not experienced into the AFCON. So football change. So you never know.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so there's been this outcry from Zambian people that Zambian footballers should at least give back to their community. And of course, we've seen from your work that you're doing at Shamuel Academy, you're the founder of Shamuel Academy. So, what really motivated you to establish Shamuel Academy?
Uh, when I was growing up, I made a promise to God. God, when you give me what I want, for example, I wanted to be a professional football player. So I told him once I be a professional football player, I want also to help other players to be professional football players. Then I thought, how can I help them? Is to open an academy because I know what they want in Europe. I know the kind of training they want. So that's how I came about with Shamo Football Club, so that I can at least try to put the standard that I have in Europe, the ground, the dressing room, also how we manage the club, so that when they go to Europe, it will be easy for them because at least we have given them maybe 20% of what they have in Europe. Because most of the clubs here, they don't have stadiums, their management, they are poor, they're not professional. So for Shaman, we try to bring in maybe 20% of what they have in Europe, so that when you go to Europe, at least you have where to start from.
Okay, awesome. Also, what vision do you have for your players, the players that play here at Shamuel Academy? Where do you want to see them?
Me, I want to see my players playing in the Champions League because me myself, I've never played in the Champions League. So me, my goal is to see them playing in the Champions League. So far, we have one who's playing in Champions League, Miguel Chaiwa. He's playing for young boys. But I want
Oh, Miguel
like
Chaiwa,
yes. So I want most of them. That's my target. If I have a player who have a dream to play for Nkwazi, Zanako, me, I'm not interested in those things because it's easy to play in those clubs. In wherever you go, you can play in an academy which they don't have stadium. They have one ball, but you have an opportunity to play for Nkwazi because Nkwazi is miles away,
Yes.
But for you to play in the Champions League, you need a lot of work. You need a lot of sacrifice. You need a lot of understanding about your diet, about your trainings, about the time, keeping time. There are a lot of things involved. So those are things that here Shamo will teach. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I'm sure there are a lot of players that look up to you. A lot of young boys there in the compounds are saying, okay, I want to go professional like Evans Kangwa. So any word of advice that you have for that young boy in Chibolia, that young boy here playing at Shamo Academy, any words of advice that you would like to give them?
Yeah, my advice is, especially for young boys, my advice is for them to concentrate because when we are starting, when I was starting, for example, I said I dropped up from school because I wanted to concentrate on football. And that time school we are paying, but nowadays school is free. Our president has given us free education. So I would advise them first to go to school, because when you go to Europe, you need to understand, because they speak in English. If you don't understand English, you are not going to get the information or the instructions. So you need to learn English, because once you learn, you have at least a little bit of knowledge. You understand also how to manage your body, to manage your time. You know, there are a lot of things for you. That's why even the Bible says the lack of knowledge people perish, because sometimes you might not know what to do for you to recover fast to play the next match. But if you have a little bit of knowledge, it's easy for you to find the way.
Oh, okay, so I hope that young boy in Chivolia, that young boy playing at Shamuel Academy would really take your advice.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking your time to join us on this episode of Pitchside Stories. So if you have time, I would like you to play a game just for our viewers. I will just ask you 4 questions just to test your knowledge on Zambian football, and you have to answer them in 10 seconds.
Zambian football?
Yes. Okay, so you have to answer this one in 10 seconds.
Wait.
I'll give you a clue. He's from Power Dynamos.
Dynamos?
Yes. And he's not Zambian, but he plays for
Power Dynamos.
Yeah.
Soon. 17 years from where the squad perished in a plane crash. It's in! Tucked away by Stopira Zunzu, and Zambia are champions of Africa.
That's all we had for you on today's episode of Pitchside Stories. I hope you enjoyed that game with Evans Kangwa. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe, and share. Till next time, from me and my team, bye-bye.